things I get a kick out is the fact that you recorded the song "I Hate You" in what would become my office. Yeah. That little corner there in Weddington, where
basically a hallway.
Yeah. But then they turned it into a series of rooms, and for my first few years at Weddington, that was my office.
Wow.
So I always took great glee with that this wonderful, heartwarming song "I Hate You" was recorded.
Well, we did it in the hallway because we wanted to sound like a crappy bootleg punk tape. Because back in the day, especially the late '70s, so many LA bands were just not funded, and they literally would record it in their garage. Yeah. And so we wanted to sound like a really raw, hardcore punk band recorded with bad equipment. So we used the mics used Slate sound effects with. A slating mic. What do you guys call it?
Like a little condenser.
Yeah, just a little take 25 man screaming.
But that was the vocal was the only thing you overdubbed, right? It was all done live.
It was all done live. It's just recorded like a garage band. And we did. I think it was probably like one time. I mean, we recorded it. I think it was written on a Friday night and recorded on a Saturday morning. And then the idea was to not overthink it and not overproduce it.
Now, was Leonard auditioning other songs? Was it? How did that whole process happen?
What happened was Paramount Studios, and it's really prevalent now, but back then had music departments. And some of them actually had they had deals with record labels that they were owned by the parent company.
Sure.
And so Paramount, with its, I think Gulf and Western might have owned them at that time, probably owned, a few record labels. And so they said, well, we have these bands. We recorded the scene with no sound at all. It's just me just rocking out.
Sure.
And I tried to keep some kind of rhythm in my head, I don't know what I was, it's probably something stupid like the Woody Woodpecker tune. Just something that had a beat. And I remember Mark telling me later, he said, yeah, you were pretty much off the beat most of the time. I said, well, I didn't, You
didn't have
First of all, screw you! As the song says. But so there was nothing there. So I'm just bopping my head around. And afterwards, we had to find a song to make it work. So Paramount had this deal with record labels and various bands, but they were all kind of more new wave or, English import. It wasn't punk. It wasn't hardcore punk. And I knew hardcore punk because I'd grown up in LA in the Valley, and I listened to pretty raw punk, and I liked it. And so I told Leonard, I said, look, give me a shot. I'm going to write a really horrible punk song that sounds like a...
That's a hard sell, right?
Yeah. Well, a horrible, good horrible punk song.
Right.
And put it, record it, and you can hear it, and if you like it, we can use the movie. If not, no harm, no foul. And so I think I wrote it on a Friday night, and I just was like, what to me is the essence of punk? And it's like, well, I hate you. I hate you, I hate what... And it was about that, decline of Western civilization, like what you've done to us as the youth of today. The youth of today. And so it was like, it was about nuclear... destruction was what everyone was worried about. I lost sleep about it as a kid, so just what is the future, the thing we've done and said.
Sure.
Let's just push the button, we'd be better off dead. And then it played into the zeitgeist of the 80s that they discussed, judging by the pollution content. In the atmosphere. The latter half of the 20th century. And so the lyrics just kind of, it was one of those moments you just started writing, okay, the chorus is going to be I hate you. I berate you, And eschew you is funny. It was sort of a challenge. Like, okay, I want to put just kind of as a wink to the audience. This isn't like, this is kind of fun. And also there were bands like the Dickies and the Toy Dolls that I really liked that were fun punk. Like they were not raunchy, but they were raw and they were angry. But there was a sense of fun to it, a bit of
playfulness.
Playfulness. So I like that. So. That's how ISGU came in, and I say screw you. So we knew kind of it needed to be like a minute and a half long. I kind of knew the rhythm, my head was bouncing. So I wrote this song, and then Mark Mangini, who's the sound editor, or sound designer, I forget the exact title of both.
Sound Swami.
Sound Swami on track 4. He said, well, I play guitar, and P plays, Aaron Glasscock played the drums. And so that was our band.
Yeah.
And and Mark wrote the music, which was just, I gave him the lyrics like, da-na-na-na-na, just about as I kind of gave him the melody, I guess you would, or the lyrical melody, and he figured out the guitar chords. And again, it was like 4 chords, I think, just something really simple. Because we wanted to be like punk. And it was, because it was just angry and made up and kind of fun. And then we recorded it. And Leonard came in that Saturday. I'm pretty sure it was Saturday.
Yeah.
And when recording it, because he was listening to I think a lot of the Whale stuff that Alan was doing.
Yeah, sure.
And we played it for him, and he smiled. He goes, "That's pretty horrible." And it just, and it wasn't just coincidence that I say, I eschew and I say, "Screw you," came right in the moment that I flip him off.
Flip him off. Yeah.
So that was kind of like there was a bit of a design involved, so it would time out that way. And then he liked it, and it's become a really popular moment. And what's fun for me is people have contacted me for years wanting a copy of it and asking if they can play it, they can cover it. And
I remember the 1/4 inch was on my shelf for the longest time, and every now and then I'd have to, get it and dust it off. But now it's on the CD.
Now it's on the CD that the guys, I forget the name of the company.
The new version of the soundtrack.
Yeah,
it's just in the last few years.
Yeah, the exhaustive Star Trek 4 soundtrack.
Yeah.
That mostly Leonard Rosenman. And the Yellow Jackets did 1 cue, and then they threw in "I Hate You," and I got $500, which I think is what I was paid originally. So I think I've officially made $1,000 off "I Hate You." So yeah, can retire on that. Cool. But yeah, that was it was a really fun little off the cuff moment that's become, filmmaking history.
And that's the way it is.
Yes.